everybody, it's Heather, and I am coming back after a really long absence to give you guys an update. I am 6 years post-op traditional duodenal switch surgery. I have a lot of back videos, but I think I haven't posted in at least 2 years. So there's been a lot going on in those 2 years because the whole country was going through a pandemic and my entire way of life changed. And if you recall, if you've looked at my videos anytime recently, I went back and looked at my most recent videos, which, like I said, were at least 2 years ago, if not 3. I don't even remember. Anyway, I was already dealing with some regain at that point, which I attributed a lot to my changing jobs, thus my whole routine changed. And so you can imagine my routine changed entirely again when COVID hit and started working from home full time. I'm now working from home most days. I go in about once a week to the office. So that's now the new normal, is working from home for me anyway. So this is my workspace, my bonus room, which is also has the exercise equipment. There's a treadmill back there and a weight bench, and then you can kind of see there's a rowing machine. I don't use any of it on a regular basis at all. I did for a while, but everything's just kind of gotten away from me. Let me go through my whole spiel. I had a traditional duodenal switch, which was a revision from a lap band that had slipped and was causing a lot of reflux issues for me, with Dr. Bermudez at Rex Bariatrics in Raleigh, North Carolina, on November 9th, 2016. As of recording this, it is November 10th, 2022, and I had my 6-year follow-up appointment with that doctor today, and my highest weight was 304 pounds. I was higher than that before the lap band, but for this surgery, that was my highest weight. On the day of surgery, I was 283.2 pounds. Excuse me. The lowest weight that I saw, which was after my first round of plastic surgery. So I had plastic surgery in my first one in like October, November of 2018. So 2 years after my original surgery. My low weight was 158.6 pounds, which was still not quite a normal BMI for me, but I think it was a bit low. I mean, I felt a little too skinny, but I've never been thin my entire life before. I've never been I've probably never been an average weight, except maybe like, for my first year or so. Who knows? I've always been a sort of a chunky kid. I'm built sort of large. My bones are thick, but I know a lot of people say that, but they really are. And today I was 208 pounds at the doctor's office. So let's talk about that. So before the pandemic, I had sort of gotten up to, I think 175 is where I would be happy kind of staying there. I had gotten up into the 190s and didn't like it. And so was trying to take that down. Was not super successful. And then pandemic hit and I got up above 200 finally. I think the highest I've seen was maybe 212 or so, but that's always been very fleeting. Like you go on vacation and come back and you're a little bloated and a little bleh and haven't eaten very well, and then kind of go back to normal, which was for me anywhere between like 205 to 207. I was usually under 210. Anyway, so sometime during the pandemic, I started seeing, actually right before the pandemic, I had started seeing the weight loss doctor with my surgery practice. So they have a bunch of surgeons, and then they have a doctor who can help you with non-surgical weight loss. So I had started seeing her before that, and I just started to get onto a couple of medications to try to help me lose some weight. And I was on Wellbutrin, bupropion, and then I was also on metformin. So I've been on that for a couple of years, and while my weight didn't continue to go up after that, it really didn't come down any. So yeah, that was not super helpful. So I kind of didn't want to go with any injectable medications. I mean, she suggested other ones to me at the time, and I was like, let's start with the metformin. So that's what we started with, and then the whole pandemic hit, and I was having I was not mentally healthy. I wouldn't say that I was super depressed, but everything was, it's just, there's a whole lot of anxiety, and, I have other health issues that I have an autoimmune disorder. So I was particularly careful with COVID, because I didn't know if it was going to be extra bad for me. I did end up getting it, but not until after I was already vaccinated, thankfully. So my whole family and I got it sort of this summer, sort of one after the other, almost. But everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. But so I talked to her. I ended up talking to the psychologist I think they have for a while, just to kind of help me get through that time. And then I'd seen her at the end of last year. I'd apparently seen her too much, and I had to pay out of pocket for my last visit to see her. And so I called my insurance and figured out that I could only have 4 visits, basically once a quarter. I can only see her once a quarter, or 4 visits in a year, depending on, it doesn't matter how they're spaced, but 4 visits in a year. So I saw her again maybe June of this year, of 2022, and because it took me a while to make an appointment, and she's very busy. I'm sure a lot of people are kind of like me and have put on some weight during the pandemic, and maybe that's why. Anyway, she's very busy. I got in June, and I talked to her, and I had decided that I was ready to try injectables. And at that point, Ozempic / Wegovy had been approved for weight loss, but apparently waited too long, and there were supply chain issues, and she could not write any more prescriptions for Wegovy. She did try to write the prescription for Ozempic, but my insurance denied it, and it's very expensive. So, and I don't know if even the insurance, if even the pharmacy would have filled it without a type 2 diabetes diagnosis, which I don't have. My A1C is great. Since surgery, I was sort of pre-diabetic before surgery, but never had a type 2 diabetes, even though it does run in my family. So I was concerned about that. But now my A1C is great, actually below normal, which he said is pretty common with the DS, the surgeon today. I would talk to him about all my lab work, and he said that's pretty common. Anyway, so there's another few months of trying to get that, and then I waited for my next appointment to see her. And at that point, I had heard some online friends, had started taking Mounjaro for weight loss, which is a lot like Ozempic / Wegovy, but supposed to be even better for weight loss. And there was at the time a coupon that you could use from Eli Lilly, the manufacturer, to get it for $25, even if your insurance didn't cover it. And there were no limitations on that as far as off-label. So it's not approved for weight loss yet. I'm sure that they are going to pursue that, just like they did with Wegovy. But a lot of people are prescribing it off-label for weight loss. But my insurance did end up covering that, which I'm kind of shocked about. And now the coupon, there's a new version of the coupon, and there are apparently some pharmacies that are not filling it unless you have a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. And then the new coupon requires a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. So I'm a little concerned about being able to stay on it because of that. And I would like to stay on it because I just took my second weekly, it's a weekly injection. So I took my second injection last night, and I'm just on the starter dose of 2.5 milligrams, I believe is the units. So I'm just on the starter dose, and I noticed immediately that my hunger was reduced massively. I didn't really feel like eating. Nothing, it's not like food sounds gross or I don't want, I can't eat, but I just don't feel like eating. So my snacking has cut down an awful lot. I certainly eat less. I know that there have been a couple times where I think I made cheesesteaks for the family for dinner, and I ate like half, maybe a little more than half of mine, and then just gave the rest to my daughter because she wanted some more, and I just couldn't eat it. And then we had it for dinner another night when my husband wasn't home. We had some leftovers, and I made some more, and I ate a whole one that night, and I just felt awful afterwards. I really didn't want to continue eating it, but I did. I don't know why, but I did finish it. Kind of made myself finish it, which is stupid, but that's, it's a thing. And then I felt really bad, and I did not enjoy my life there for a little while. I did not feel good. My stomach didn't feel good. But other than that, I haven't had any bad side effects. I wouldn't call that a bad side effect. That was the medicine calling me on my actions. So making me feel really more full than I would have been before. Because I know there have been times previously when, before I took the medication but after surgery, when I've eaten like a whole sub at like Jersey Mike's, not the huge one, but like a half, and that's a lot of food. And quite often before I would eat like a quarter of it and be absolutely fine, but there have been a few times where I've eaten the whole thing and not had a problem. So that was definitely the medication. But so yeah, it's making, I've put less food on my plate and eat it, and I'm fine. So I'm really happy with my results on the medication. According to my home scale, which really has been the only one that I've been weighed on most of the time, I was down about 4 pounds from the first week. So we'll see if that continues, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I can cross these. keep my fingers crossed that I'm able to keep taking it, because I really do think that it's working for me, and I'd love to get, back down to, like I said, about 175. So that's 35 pounds, because I think my max there was 210, so about 35 pounds from there. And so hopefully I can get that off in a few months. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of my scale, I have an electronic scale that used to talk to my phone, and just, put all of those weights into an app on my phone, and then it got shared with a health app on my iPhone, and all of the stuff got shared, and it was great. A while ago, the app stopped being updated, and I cannot find a new app that will connect to my scale in order to keep all of that data automatic. And I really liked that part, that it was just all automatic. So kind of looking for a new scale. I haven't a new electronic scale that will upload the data to my phone and share with all that. I had an eTech Fit scale, and it does look like there are apps for the newer scales, but not my older scale, because I think I got it while I was in this whole surgery process. So it's 6 years old, still works absolutely fine. I think the difference in my weight at home this morning versus at the office today is probably just mostly clothes and having eaten some stuff, right? So that's, always been the case where I'm a little bit heavier at the office, because I'm not, naked first thing in the morning. So I'm kind of looking for a new scale. So if you have any recommendations, let me know, because I like mine, but I certainly would appreciate having the data more available. So that sucks. Anyway, so I think that that's all I had to talk about. I wanted to say whole family's doing fine. Kids are back in school, have been. They were back in school last year. They were out of school for a whole year and like a half, but they did go back in school last year. They're on different schedules. Exercise. I want to talk about exercise. So before this whole thing, I was really into yoga. I loved to go to the yoga studio. I went at work. We had yoga at my office. They have a gym, and they had yoga, and I would go there. I have a yoga membership at a place closer to home. And then when I was having, some anxiety and mental breakdown issues during the pandemic, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't sort of sit with my thoughts. I couldn't, the ending Shavasana, when you're just sort of laying there and trying to soothe, and they talk in a nice low voice. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And we were doing it from home, and there were a lot of, my husband saying, well, let's do it all together. If that'll, let's do it. I want to do it with you. And then I would try to get classes that he would enjoy as well as I would enjoy. And his, he'd never done yoga before. And so it was hard to find a level that would be fine for both of us. So that just kind of stopped. And I haven't been back to yoga. I've been back a few times, but at this point, I need to cancel that membership because I haven't been in months. And it's just costing me money, and I'm getting nothing from it. And I have the ability to do yoga here at home. My office, the gym, they have a bunch of videos that I can do, or I can do online classes with them during the day from home. So I just need to figure out how to work exercise back into my life. Another big thing, we got a pool. So the summer, this is our second year with the pool. So last year, um, we had a whole in-ground pool built in the backyard. And so during the summer, I spent a lot of time in the pool, which has helped a lot with my vitamin D, just being outside. So even though I wear a lot of sunscreen because I tend to burn and skin cancer runs in my family, my vitamin D still has gone up appreciably because of being in the sun so much more. In fact, I've had to cut down my vitamin D supplements. So I halved it, checked it again, halved it again, checked it again. So now I'm back down to a relatively normal DS dose of 50,000 IUs a day, or I was up to like 200,000. And I was still hanging out around like a 40. And now with my most recent set of labs, it was in the higher range, like higher normal. So like 90 something, which is fine. I would love for it to stay there. So hopefully it will. It's managed to stay fine throughout the winter, even as I was bringing my dosage down. So I was a little concerned that not being out in the sun, my vitamin D would tank, but it didn't. So that's good. So I think I'm good at this current level. The only thing I need to do is my vitamin A was also kind of high, so I need to bump that down and test it again in 3 months. So that's my plan with that. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say now. I think that's it. But if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer them. I'm just, a working mother of 2 kids who have their own activities, and I just have to kind of fit myself in there. So those are my challenges right now. But I hope everybody enjoyed my update. Let me know if you have any questions, like I said, and I will hopefully talk to you again soon and let you know how the whole Mounjaro thing is going.